The eternal night of Andromeda. The Galactic Empire's fleet had traveled for centuries, conquering star systems and bending entire civilizations to its rule. But when they set course for the Andromeda Galaxy, seeking new worlds to dominate, they encountered something that defied all logic, something that should not exist. The journey began as expected. Thousands of warships, each the size of small moons, cut through the void at faster-than-light speeds. The stars stretched and warped as they crossed into the Andromeda system. But then, the sky began to change. The stars went out one by one. The Empire's navigators watched in horror as entire constellations were swallowed by an expanding blackness, a void so absolute that even their sensors detected nothing. The fleet's admiral, a man who had never known fear, ordered a halt. Probes were sent into the darkness. None returned. Then the whispers began. At first, they were just static on the comms. Then, voices, whispering in a language older than time. Crew members started disappearing from their quarters. Security footage showed them rising from their beds, staring into nothing, and walking straight into the airlocks, smiling. Panic spread like wildfire. Some ships tried to turn back, but their engines refused to ignite. Others simply vanished from existence, their distress beacons flashing once before being consumed by the void. Then, the flagship's lights flickered. A shadow moved through the corridors, something that wasn't human. It had no form, no face, just the feeling of something ancient, something watching. The Admiral stood before the main viewport, his hands shaking, as he finally understood. They had not found Andromeda, Andromeda had found them, and it was hungry. The eternal night of Andromeda. The Galactic Empire's fleet tore through hyperspace, their colossal warships gliding like silent specters between the stars. Grand Admiral Kale stood on the bridge of the Oblivion, staring out into the endless void of the Andromeda expanse. The mission was simple: colonize an uncharted system that Imperial scouts had reported as rich in resources. But something about this journey felt wrong. As they approached the designated planet, Orpheon V, a signal pulsed from its surface. It was faint but unmistakably artificial. The Empire had no record of any previous civilizations here. The distress call repeated in an eerie, distorted loop: turn back. The sky is watching. Kale ordered a landing party to investigate. A team of elite troopers descended onto the surface, their helmets filtering the thick, swirling mist that covered the landscape. Towering obsidian structures loomed in the distance, buildings, but not built by human hands. They pulsed with a strange, organic glow. Then, the screams began. The troopers' comms erupted with static-laced shrieks. Shadowy figures moved within the fog, shifting faster than the eye could track. The men fired into the darkness, their plasma rifles lighting up the mist, but their shots hit nothing. One by one, their life signals winked out. A deep, guttural voice echoed from the sky itself. You were warned. The Oblivion scanners detected something horrifying: stars vanishing from the sky, one by one. Not due to movement, not due to clouds, but as if something immense was swallowing them. A shape beyond comprehension, vaster than entire star systems, loomed beyond the atmosphere. Kale barely had time to shout the order to retreat before the Oblivion systems died. A great black tendril, darker than space itself, reached down from the heavens, wrapping around the flagship like a child plucking a toy from the ground. The last thing Kale saw before the ship was dragged into the abyss was the stars, blinking out, leaving only the eternal night. And in the silence that followed, the distress call continued to echo through the void: turn back. The sky is watching. The Galactic Empire's journey to the sky above the planet Obscura 9 was different. It wasn't just dark, it swallowed the light. The Galactic Empire's fleet had traveled through 1,000 systems, conquering, enslaving, and expanding. But when the Supreme Commander ordered the fleet to push beyond the known stars, beyond the Empire's grasp, they reached a place no one could explain. It started with silence. Admiral Vek, a war-hardened veteran, stood on the bridge of the Imperator Rex, watching the stars flicker out one by one. The ship's scanners malfunctioned, long-range communications went silent, and the crew whispered about the void beyond the sky. Then, the distress signals began: the Eclipse, the Dominator, the Vanguard, entire destroyers vanished from the radar. No explosions. No debris. Just, gone. The fleet's remaining ships formed a tight formation, searching for an enemy that didn't exist. Then the whispers started. Crew members reported voices coming from the comms, static-laced, distorted, but undeniably human. Turn back, they said. The sky is not yours. Admiral Vek dismissed it as paranoia, until he heard it himself, his own voice whispering back at him through the speakers, and then he saw them, beyond the bridge windows, in the endless abyss, shadows moved. They weren't ships. They weren't meteors. They were something else, things with hollow eyes, bodies shifting like liquid smoke, reaching for the hull with elongated fingers. The fleet turned, retreating at full speed, but the sky did not let them go. One by one, the ships flickered out like dying stars, swallowed by the things that lived in the sky beyond the Empire's reach. Admiral Vek sent one final transmission before the Imperator Rex was consumed. Do not follow us. Do not look for us. The sky is alive. And then, silence. The Galactic Empire never spoke of the lost fleet again.